Hi y'all, my name is Allison and my dad is currently dying from atypical Parkinsonism with rapid dementia. He did receive a diagnosis about 2 months ago, and after I've learned a lot, it does seem like he was presenting with some signs and symptoms several years ago, and he is now in the end stages of this very progressive disease. In my time, just these past few months since he had received this diagnosis, I've started to watch different videos that are available on YouTube. I've been on apps like TikTok. I've looked for books in the library. I've searched for podcasts. And what I'm not finding too much of is any kind of more firsthand accounts from loved ones of someone that has received this diagnosis, that is living with an atypical Parkinsonism. And it's been very hard for me to reach out to my extended family, to my dad's siblings, my cousins, his nieces, nephews, in-laws, and I want there to be some sort of updates out there, something available while this is happening. And I also just want to create this for anyone that might need, just to know that they're not alone, that while initially it was very helpful for me to learn about, the diagnosis my dad received, all of the science, all of the jargon, it just, at a certain point, it was too much. My dad currently lives about 15 minutes from me. We're in the same town, my hometown here, and he lives with his wife, my mom, who's his main caregiver, and then my younger brother. He's about 4 years younger, and he is also a main caregiver. And then I go over for visits, or if they need to both be out of town, I'll go over and be with my dad, as he's not able to be alone at all anymore. He did let us know several months back that he's very uncomfortable being alone. So and then I also have my wife, who is supporting and helping all of us, as well as grieving herself through this whole process. This is really hard. It's really hard. It's really scary. It's really confusing. It's currently June of 2026, and my dad rapidly declined in September of 2025 following a gallbladder surgery. And he received his diagnosis in April, so it took several months with many visits to different specialists, different doctors, to figure out what was going on with my dad. And then a neurologist finally put the pieces together. Flashing back to September, it was like we lost him almost overnight, maybe a few weeks after that gallbladder surgery. When he woke up from that surgery, he was terrified, and he was never the same since. So kind of seems like it was a catalyst event to just progress the disease, which I know he already had. He had slowly, begun to lose his ability to drive. A neighbor years ago wondered to my mom if he might have Parkinson's, because she noticed a change in how he was walking and his posture, which now I know was one of those indicators, that he is living with the Parkinsonism. He started having horrible dizziness that no one could explain. He saw so many specialists, tried so many therapies, had his eyes checked out, his brain scan, so many things. But I believe that dizziness was also another indicator in his experience that his brain had begun to die from this disease. He also lives with bipolar. He was diagnosed over 20 years ago and has been, medicated, and certainly has experienced different episodes of mania and depression throughout, that time. really brutal. And, I thought maybe that also has a part of what happened to my dad, that, he's had this intense illness to face affecting his brain, and he's been taking medications for it all these years, and who knows? But it doesn't matter, right? Because my dad's dying, and it's happening really quickly, and it's scary. There's really no medicines that will help him. He will see a specialist in July if he is with us that long, a movement disorder specialist, another neurologist, and, they might have him try certain medicines. But the fact of the matter is my dad is dying rapidly. I've been around grandparents mainly, and also an aunt who were nearing death themselves. My grandpa had Parkinson's, and then my grandma passed from a type of brain cancer. My Grammy had Alzheimer's, and then my grandpa also had Alzheimer's, and I also had an aunt who passed from cancer. It was not specifically ovarian, but I know it was similar. And I was with them all for visits, within 6 months before their death. And there's a certain energy that a person has when their disease begins to really, take their life. And my dad has had that energy for a while. I myself am a Reiki practitioner and do a lot of energy work, which I have been doing for my dad, and I can feel it. It's a very specific type of energy that especially his brain is like just giving off, and it's all around him, and it's in his eyes. You can see it in his eyes. And it just, none of his extended family have seen him. If by chance any of you are watching this, I love you all so much. I'm so sorry that we're losing my dad to this disease. But yeah, no one has seen him. No one's been able to talk to him. He can hardly speak. He does not initiate conversation anymore. Right now he says no to pretty much any question you ask him. But no one has seen him. No one has been able to visit, and it freaks me out because, again, there's been Parkinson's, there's been like dementia, Alzheimer's on both sides of my family. So I'm thinking maybe there's this hope that my dad might have years that he'll have living with this disease. But with where he's at with his atypical Parkinsonism, that's now, also causing rapid dementia. I don't see him making it past this year, I believe. I don't even know if he has a few months left, and I don't know how to tell anyone. And it's just really lonely. I think for my brother and my mom, they're facing this full on with him day in and day out, and seeing how quickly he is declining. And my mom called a few nights ago and spoke with my wife and I, and just ended up saying they don't know what to do. And she did share that he's declined again. So I went over the next day, and I saw him at one point struggling to swallow his iced tea, and I got really scared because I know swallowing is something that he could end up having a lot of trouble with. It was spooky. His eyes too, they just look so scared. He just kind of stares off into space, and he kind of has a droop with his mouth, and kind of reminds me of his dad, my grandpa, and my grandpa. It's like a combo of all of them. Except this is happening so rapidly that it's you can't even grasp what's going on, or you just keep trying to do your best to take care of him with every new thing that's happening. He was doing physical therapy. My mom got him to do that for a few weeks, but he said enough is enough and he's done with that. I think he was just able to communicate like no more, and she was able to get him to go to the therapist to just let her know like, hey, we're done. The moment I saw him struggling to swallow, I wondered maybe if speech therapy was next, and that's when my mom shared that he's done with physical therapy and she knows he's not going to want to go do speech therapy. Months back before the diagnosis, my dad also had shared that he had lost his will to live, which I respect so much. This man has been through it with his brain health, and he deserves peace. I don't want him to have this prolonged suffering, because it just is going to get worse and worse. Like, this is one where, you know, there's no hope. Our hope is to reduce his suffering as much as possible. But, you know, being told, like, I hope he feels better, or, you know, someone saying, like, oh, maybe this will help him, it's just not applicable. And I am in my reality that I need to be so that I can accept this, so I can keep myself grounded, not only for me, but for him, so that when I go over and visit and when I'm holding his hand and I'm asking, like, you know, are you scared? You know, do you feel safe? It's not me, like, I'm not gone in this, like, oh, sunshine, rainbows mode. I am holding space for him, knowing that my dad is dying, and he's dying really quickly, and it's really scary. He told me yesterday he feels terrible. For a while there, he was saying he felt good, but I think that was just for my benefit. So it was good for him to say that he felt terrible. I want him to be honest, you know, and that's why I am honest with myself. I remind myself every day, like, hey, your dad's dying, just to help me stay in this reality, to know, like, this really is happening. This is real. This is the moment. I knew it would come someday. I had no idea my dad would be hit with such a brutal disease. It's honestly his worst nightmare, is after what he saw his dad go through with Parkinson's. He said, I don't want that to happen to me. I would rather, like, essentially jump off a cliff than, you know, just die a slow, brutal death. And yeah, it's his nightmare. My dad's living his nightmare, and I wish him peace and comfort, and I want him to feel better. And I know that means that I am hoping that he'll die soon, that he'll pass soon. I love him so much, and this sucks. And anyone else out there with a loved one going through this that might come across this, you're not alone. There are families out there in this world that are watching their loved ones die to this disease. It's just so crazy. And it's so sad. So anyone that might be seeing this, my dad is named Paul. A lot of my family, they know him. He's Uncle Paul. He's their little brother Paul. He's, their brother-in-law Paul. Their friend Paul. He needs a lot of good vibes his way, and I know he's in really good hands with all his guardian angels. I know his parents are with him in spirit right now. I know my mom's parents are with him. I know his sister is with him. His sister-in-law is with him. His goddaughter is with him. He has aunts and uncles with him. His friend, I know he has friends with him. And I know Rigby's with him, his beloved black lab, our family's black lab, Rigby. She's with him. And I love my dad so much. I hate this disease so much. And my hope going forward for others is that there will be more research done It only affects 5 to 7%, I believe. Atypical Parkinsonism. It's only 5 to 7% of Parkinsonisms. It's rare. Less research, less is known about it. It's affecting less people, but it is affecting people, and it is stealing their lives quickly and in a really intense, scary way. And thanks for your time. Thanks for just sharing this space with me, a daughter who's losing her dad to this. Yeah, and I'm just sending out love and support to anyone that might be in a similar situation with a loved one. May they also have peace and as least amount of suffering as possible.